They say Delhi belongs to the big-hearted and to the broken-hearted. They also say it belongs to the heartbreakers. Lucky, real name Lakshman Lal Agarwal, possessed all these traits. Just by looking at his face, people would ask, "Hey, are you from Delhi or what?" Lucky was smart and attractive, but because his pockets were usually empty, he lived a very simple life. His shirt was faded and his pants were covered in patches. While boys his age raced motorbikes through the streets of Delhi at night, Lucky's life was a strict cycle. Room to college, studying, spending a little time with his girlfriend Dimple, then college to the shop, and finally making home deliveries before heading back home. Sometimes when he saw a guy zooming down an empty road on a bike, he would mutter to himself, one day my time will come. I'll be wearing my shades with Dimple sitting behind me. Just watch, when she wraps her arms tight around my waist and I speed past India Gate, all of Delhi will burn with envy. Even that Bernal cream in the shop won't be enough to soothe their jealousy." Lost in his thoughts, Lucky squeezed a tube of Bernal in his hand. The cream oozed out under the pressure. "Hey, you donkey, what are you doing? Is that a sponge ball you're squeezing?" The shop owner barked at him, landing a sharp smack on the back of his head. Sorry, sir, Lucky stammered, shielding his head. He worked at a small medical store in Carol Bagh called Chaman Medical Store. The owner was Chaman Lal. Lucky had been working there for 5 years. Working at this tiny shop was a necessity. His financial situation forced him to take a part-time job to finish his college education. He had searched for better jobs with better pay, but found nothing, so he remained stuck at this medical store. "You idiot! Is your father going to pay for this? It's coming out of your salary, and I'll charge you double the MRP." Chaman gashed his teeth, his nose flared with anger, while Lucky struggled to breathe in panic. "MRP? Why double the MRP, sir?" Lucky asked tremulously. "So that next time you think twice before doing something so stupid." Chaman snapped, snatching the tube from his hand. He looked like he wanted to land another blow on Lucky's head, but the shop phone started ringing. Lucky seized the opportunity to escape and ran to answer it. "Hello, Carol Bagh's best medical store, Chaman Medical Store speaking. How can I help you?" This was Lucky's patented line. No matter who called, he had to say exactly that. As soon as he finished, a voice replied.
"I'm calling from room 303, Blooming Night Hotel. I have a small order. Note it down and have it delivered immediately." It was a young man's voice, heavy, with a strange sense of urgency. When Lucky heard it, for some reason, it sounded familiar. Yes, sir. Please tell me your order." "Right. 2 packets of hard play and 1 packet of tissues." Lucky, pen in hand, hesitated at the mention of hard play. It was a brand of condoms, and even after years of working at a pharmacy, the name still made him blush. "Hello? Brother, did you write it down or not?" the man asked again. Yes, sir. I've got it, Lucky replied with an embarrassed laugh. "If you've got it, then get moving," the guy said. His voice carried the arrogance of someone wealthy. Yes, sir, I will. But sir, it's raining heavily outside," Lucky said. He looked out and saw a torrential downpour. The street in front of the shop was flooded, and strong winds had knocked down the Chaman Medical Store sign. Lucky didn't think he could make it through such weather. He tried to explain. "Sir, I'll bring the order, but it might take some time. Once the rain lets up, Before he could finish, the man cut him off. "Does your boss know you're saying no to Mr. Malhotra's son?" "Yes, I know it's raining. That's why you should pack everything well in a bag. And don't be late, understand?" The man hung up before Lucky could say another word. Across the room, Chaman Lal was glaring at him. Seeing the pen and paper, the owner knew an order had come in. Because of the rain, hardly any customers had visited the shop all day. Chaman wasn't about to let a single order go. He stared at Lucky, and Lucky stared at the rain.
"No excuses about the rain. You're going," Chaman Lal said.
"I'm not making excuses, sir. I'll go as soon as it slows down. Just look at how hard it's pouring. And that Mr. Malhotra's son was in such a hurry. I won't be able to get there fast on my cycle," Lucky reasoned.
"What did you say? Mr. Malhotra's son? Do you want to get my shop shut down? Leave right now with the order. They are very old customers."
Chaman insisted. "But," Lucky started, but Chaman cut him off.
"No but. Take my motorcycle." he said angrily.
Sir, on a 200 rupee order, we'll barely make 40 rupees profit. The petrol will cost 3 times that, and if the bike stalls in the rain, that's extra expense, Lucky explained. He knew his boss usually didn't overlook such details.
It doesn't matter. Go. The customer shouldn't be upset. And besides, it's Malhotra's son.
Chaman Lal tossed the motorcycle keys toward Lucky. Lucky caught them, a mix of emotion swirling inside him. He was happy to finally ride a bike after so long, but miserable that it had to be in this weather. If the bike broke down, the blame would fall squarely on him. Slumping his shoulders, he put on his raincoat and helmet and stepped out. Looking at the bike, he thought, fine, whatever happens, happens. At least I get to ride. The truth was, despite years of working, Lucky couldn't afford a bike of his own. His salary was just enough to cover his rent, the air in his bicycle tires, utility bills, and taking Dimple out for a meal once or twice a month. Dimple's words often echoed in his head.
Lucky, if you don't buy a bike in the next 2 months, I'm breaking up with you. Just watch.
Dimple desperately wanted to roam the city with Lucky on a bike. In his desolate life, she was the only reason he wanted to keep going. Whenever she brought up the bike, Lucky would laugh it off. Deep down, he believed Dimple loved him too much to ever actually leave. They were as intertwined as clouds and rain. Lucky adored her and wanted to buy her all the happiness in the world. He dreamed of taking her on a plane one day, but those dreams felt impossible on his meager salary. Today, however, he had a chance. He planned to take Dimple to Rajpath in this rain. He wanted to show her Delhi. He had already prepared an excuse for Chamanlal. After the delivery, he was going straight to her. He parked the bike outside the Blooming Night Hotel and hurried inside. At the reception, Lucky greeted the man behind the desk. "Hello, I'm Lucky from Chaman Medical Store. I have an order for room 303. The receptionist looked at the black plastic bag in Lucky's hand, realized what was inside, and gave a knowing smirk.
"Third floor. Take the lift. Leave your raincoat here."
Lucky did as he was told. Within moments, the elevator reached the 3rd floor. He stood outside room 303 and rang the bell. As the door opened, Lucky held out the bag. "Hello, I'm Lucky from Chaman Medical Store. Here is your—" Lucky froze. His eyes widened in shock. It felt as if lightning had struck him, even though he was under a roof. Standing before him was a girl, and that girl was none other than his girlfriend, Dimple. She was wearing a purple nightgown. Her thick black hair was wet and draped over her shoulders. The scent of her soap made it obvious she had just stepped out of the shower. "Dimple? What are you doing here?" Lucky couldn't believe his eyes. He blinked twice, but she was still there.
What are you doing here, Lucky? Have you been stalking me?
Dimple snapped at him, going on the offensive. Her heart was racing. She hadn't expected Lucky to show up here. She hadn't answered his calls or messages all day, planning to tell him tomorrow that she had been sick.
Dimple baby, what happened? Who are you talking to? Suddenly, a well-built young man stepped up to the door wearing a vest. Lucky recognized him instantly. "You bastard! Rahul, how dare you lay a hand on my Dimple?" The sight of Rahul sent a surge of pure rage through Lucky. He wanted to thrash him, to beat him until there was nothing left. Lucky, Rahul, and Dimple all attended the same college, a college owned by Rahul's father. Dimple had recently taken a job at one of his father's companies, and Rahul had been hitting on her constantly. Lucky had warned her to stay away, but she had dismissed it, saying they were just good friends. Before Lucky could move, Dimple stepped between them.
Stop it!
Dimple shouted, placing a hand on Lucky's chest to hold him back. Lucky was breathing heavily, and after a few moments, his initial rage turned into a cold realization. Dimple had nothing left to hide.
Lucky, it's over. We're breaking up.
Break up? The ground seemed to vanish beneath Lucky's feet. His eyes welled with tears. "Dimple, we've been together for a year, and you're breaking up with me? I was just about to buy a new bike for you."
Oh, give it a rest. You only remember the bike today? You don't have the money to take me out or feed me. Where would you get a bike from? And even if you did, how would you pay for petrol? You think you can do all that on an 8,000 rupee a month salary? People laugh at me when I walk through Sarojini Market with you. I don't want to live a life like this, Lucky. I don't want to be poor like you. You trapped me. You fooled me. That's why I've moved on with Rahul. He's my boyfriend now.
Dimple's words were sharp and cold.
So, baby, this is that pathetic ex-boyfriend of yours? Rahul mocked him, stepping up beside Dimple. He snatched the bag from Lucky's hand, pulled out the hard play packet, and waved it in the air to taunt him. My God, is there a more unlucky guy in the world than this? What a loser. Lucky had no words. He looked at Dimple with a mixture of anger and heartbreak, his fists clenched tight. Then he turned and walked away. Hey, at least take the money. You given everything away for free now? Ha ha ha. Rahul burst into loud, mocking laughter. But Lucky didn't stay to listen. He walked away, the echo of Dimple's words ringing in his head. He had never imagined, even in his wildest dreams, that Dimple could do something like this to him. The person he was willing to do anything for didn't value him at all. Overwhelmed by despair, Lucky broke down in tears. This time, he didn't take the elevator, he took the stairs. With every step he descended, tears streamed down his face. When a few people stepped out of their rooms hearing his sobs, Lucky quickly wiped his eyes and hurried away. For the first time in his life, he had fallen in love, and because of his lack of money, not just his love, but his entire life felt ruined. As Lucky stepped outside, he saw that darkness had fallen. Lightning streaked across the sky, and the rain, which had momentarily stopped, began to pour down in torrents once again. Seeing this, Lucky's tears started flowing again. His heart felt heavy and hollow. Yet a part of him felt a strange sense of relief. At least he had finally seen Dimple's true colors. He had been planning to build a home with her, but in a way it was good that he had been saved from a disastrous future before it even began. Lucky was in deep pain, yet he felt that this very sorrow would eventually bring him peace. However, one thing continued to haunt him: his financial condition. He was so broke that he had to walk around in pants with torn pockets. There were days when he survived on nothing but plain bread. He had been desperately trying to find a decent job, but no one was willing to hire him. Trying to comfort his broken heart, he thought that perhaps the money he would have spent on Dimple might now help improve his situation, but even then, he wasn't going to become rich overnight. He looked up at the sky and screamed at the top of his lungs, "If you wanted to make me so unlucky, then why did you name me Lucky, God?" He screamed as loud as he possibly could, startling the people nearby. Lucky kept staring upward, his tears mingling with the falling rain. Just as he was about to break down completely, his phone buzzed with a message. As Lucky pulled out his phone and began to read, his eyes lit up. Suddenly, his tears turned to laughter, and he began to dance wildly right there on the street. The message read, "Based on the family's research and decision, the heir of the Agarwal family, Lakshman Lal Agarwal, aka Lucky, has successfully passed the poverty training test. From this day forward, he shall be the sole owner of all the family lands and assets."
Who exactly was Lucky? What was his true story? And how did he turn from unlucky to lucky overnight? What do you think? Let us know your answers in the comments below.